Hey guys, if you're interested in how I drafted this bustier and this sleeve, just stay here and don't go anywhere. Once again, welcome back to Styles by E. Please do not forget to like, subscribe, and share. Alright, I got the pattern for this dress, or should I say for this bustier. So I'm labeling the first edge, which I'm using as my shoulder line, and then the last edge of the paper I'm going to use as my half length. So I first went to measure my bust point, which is 10 inches from the shoulder line. That's what I'm doing right now. So I marked those 10 inches and I'll use my rule to connect those lines together. After getting that, we'll go ahead to mark out the under bust, which is 12 inches for me. So I marked it on the pattern paper as you're seeing, and then when I had to connect those dots together. After doing that,
I had to take my chest measurement that's coming up from the bust point by 2 inches, as you're seeing me doing right now on your screen. I did that and I connected the dots with my rule. And then after doing that, we'll go ahead to label all the lines from my chest line, bust point, under bust. Next thing I'm gonna do now is take my shoulder measurement, which is 8 inches, and I came down by 1 inches from the shoulder measurement and then draft out my neckline. That's 3 inches width, 3 inches depth, and then I did my shoulder slope as you see me doing. Now the measurement for my shoulder, I did the same thing on the chest line and then connected those lines from the chest line to the shoulder slope. So the next thing I'm going to do is to get my armhole, and then I'm going to take my French curve and then fix it in a way to get this shape. If you don't understand what I'm saying, just watch what I'm doing. So the next thing I'm gonna do now is to get my nipple to nipple measurement, which is 3.5 for me. So I'll go ahead to mark it on the chest line, the bust point, on the bust, and the half length, and then I'm gonna draw a line as you're seeing me doing right now. So it's time, guys, to do the bustier. So I'm gonna start from my under bust. I'm gonna come in from this first side by 1/2 inch. I'll do that on the under bust and on the half length, and then by the other side I'll go in by 1.5 inches and then connect those lines as you're seeing me doing right now. So the next I'm gonna do now is take my French curve and then just to make a curve from the under bust to the bust point, place it in a way that it sits properly. I'll do this for both sides, yeah. And then I've gotten the first curve. So what I'm going to do now is to come up from the chest line, draw a line, and then from there I'm going to measure my shoulder slope. I'll divide it by 2 and then connect a line from my bust point to the midpoint of the shoulder, and then from the line I took above the chest line, I'm going to go by 1/2 inch, yes, 3/4 some might say, and then I'll use my French curves to connect those lines, those curves as you're seeing me doing right now on your screen. So I shaded out the parts that I will take out when I'm cutting this out. So after doing this now, I'm gonna give it a sweetheart neck. So I came down by 1/2 inch from the chest line and then connected it to one part, and then the other side I just connected it to the armhole just to get the sweetheart neck. So next I'm gonna do now is to impute my body measurement. So my chest measurement I got was like 36, and then I added the extra allowance. I did the same thing for the half length, not the under bust, the half length. My waist measurement by 4 is 7.5, and then I took in the allowance for the dart, which is 2 inches. I replaced it and then used my rule to connect those lines as you see me doing right now. So I'll go ahead now to use my scissors to trim out the parts that will not be needed. So I took out the yoke. Since the dress will not be needing a yoke, I just dropped the yoke, and then I went out to cut out the bustier as you see me doing right now on your screen. I took my time to cut out the extra pieces. Please take your time as you're doing this so you do not mistakenly slash what you need. So after cutting it out, what I'm gonna do now is to use a tape to hold the two bustiers together so that I can be able to get the back piece. So after placing it like this, I took my tape and then I placed it properly and then sealed it with this tape as you're seeing me doing right now. So I'm gonna go ahead to put another extra pieces, and then I got out the zipper allowance. I think I used about 1.5 inch for that, placed it on the line. So I'll go ahead now to trace out the back piece. So tracing out the back piece, I ensure that the sides now are equal, and then from the zipper part I can be able to do any shape I want. I can use a straight rule to rule it. I can leave it this way anyhow, but I decided to use a French curve to just do any style I wanted. You can implement and do whatever you want to do here. So guys, this is just all about the pattern drafting of this bustier. So what we're gonna do now is to use our fabric to cut out this piece, leaving. So guys, so this is the fabric I'm using for this dress. So I'm gonna go ahead now to cut out all this piece using this fabric. I'm gonna start with the bustier, the center front, and I'm going to place it in the unfolded part of this fabric, and then I'm gonna cut in by 1/2 inch allowance. I'm gonna leave 1/2 inch allowance for stitching. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm not cutting it exactly, I'm leaving an extra 1/2 inch allowance while cutting. I did this for this first piece, and then I'm gonna do this for the other piece too. If you do not really understand what I'm saying, just watch whatever I'm doing. Now the difference is here that is the difference with this piece is that when I was drafting the pattern, I did not leave stitching allowance for this dress. So as I'm trimming it out by the side now, I'm going to leave about 1 or 1.5 inch allowance for the side. Yes. So after doing all this, I went ahead to do the same. I went ahead to cut this too for the back piece, as you're seeing me doing. I lay it, I arrange it properly, and then trim out for the back piece. It's leaving my allowance, 0.5 inch allowance on every side, and then for the main side I left about 1 inch allowance. So guys, after doing that, I'll go ahead to also cut the lining piece and then I'm going to iron hasting to all the pieces of this fabric, and then show you guys what it looks like when I'm done. So guys, this is what it looks like after ironing hasting, and then I'm going to set it aside now, and I'm going to work on the front piece. So for me to cut in my interfacing for the bust, look how I decided to cut out from the under bust and then shape the other side as you see me doing. So this is what I'm going to use for my interfacing. I'm using a soft interfacing. So I'm going to fold this into and then trim everything out as you see me doing right now. I'm going to trim it exactly as what is on the paper. I'm going to trim it both for the center front and the side front. Yeah, after doing that, I'll go ahead to iron all this, and I will show you what it looks like before we start stitching. So guys, after ironing it, this is what it looks like. So I'm going to start stitching the front piece of the bustier. So this center piece, I decided to arrange everything. I'll use pin to hold it down as you're seeing me doing right now. Ensure that the under bust are equal on both pieces. I'm going to do the same thing for the other side as you're seeing me doing. I'll start my stitching from down. Yes, then I will show you what it looks like. So guys, this is what it looks like when I was done. It's looking very neat. So I'll go ahead to notch all the curves from the under bust and to the curve of the bustier as you see me doing right now. So after notching the important parts, I'll go ahead to show you what it looks like when I flip it. Guys, look at it coming out really nice. So I'll go ahead to iron every pieces as you're seeing me doing. I'll go ahead and iron every pieces and show you what it looks like. And then for the back piece, I'm gonna take out my zipper allowance, which is 1.5 inch, as you see me doing right now. And then I'm going to measure my nipple to nipple measurement and then notch that side to get my dart. Folding into two, my dart length is 5 inches and the width of my dart is 0.5 inches. So I'll use my ruler to connect it and stitch. I'll do this for both pieces of the back and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. So guys, I finished stitching the darts for the back piece. I ironed everything out, so it's time for us to shape this bustier. So I'm gonna pin them together as you're seeing me doing right now, and then I'm gonna measure from the zipper allowance. My bust point is 9, so I'm gonna take 8.5 since it's a bustier, and then for my waist I'm gonna take 7.5, and then I'm just gonna use my ruler to connect it and stitch it as you're seeing me doing. After doing this, I'm still going to do the same thing for the other side. Yes, I'm doing this now for the other side. I'm going to take out my zipper allowance and then measure my bust and my waist, and I'm going to use rule to connect it and then go down to my machine and stitch it. So guys, this is what it looks like. So after doing this, I'll go ahead to iron every part of it. Look at it. The bustier, when I measured it, it was a little bit bigger, so I went ahead to my machine to take in 1 inch from the bust point. So guys, this is what it looks like when I was done ironing. It's looking very neat. I trimmed out all the excess fabric from the sides, so I went ahead to do the same thing for the lining piece, and I'll show you what the lining piece looks like. So to get my place for the sleeve, I decided to measure from the midpoint to the side by 6 inches on both sides, and then I notched. Now we're gonna deal with the sleeve. I took out the pieces from the yoke and I measured from the shoulder to where I cut out the bustier, and it was about 6 inches. So 6 inches by 2 is 12, but I'm going to leave it about 13.5 inches. That's what I did by cutting this fabric on fold 13 inches sides, and the other one I think I did have 9 inches on fold. So I'll go ahead to stitch the two sides as you're seeing me doing right now. I stitched it, cut out the extra fabric and then flipped it, ensuring that the stitching is facing back. I'll go ahead to iron those two pieces and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. Yeah. So guys, after ironing it, this is what it looks like. So I'll go ahead to attach this piece on the bustier. So on the part I notched, I am going to take one side of this sleeve and place it right sides facing each other and then pin it, and then I'll go ahead to pleat it as you see me doing right now. I'll pleat it closely to each other, and after stitching it I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. So guys, this is what it looks like after pleating, and then I'm going to measure from the end of the pleated sleeve to the middle, and I got 1 inch, so I'll replace that 1 inch on the other side and pin the other sleeve together and then pleat it also closely as you see me doing. So I'll go ahead to stitch it, and guys, look at what it looks like. It's beginning to come out stunning. It's beginning to be very beautiful. So I'll do the same thing for the other sleeve, and guys, this is what it looks like. And then I did almost the same thing for the lining, so it's time to attach the lining on the actual fabric. So what I did now was to place the lining on the actual fabric, right sides facing each other, and then I'll go ahead to pin it from the middle, and then I would pin it way down to the sleeve, down to the zipper, as you see me doing right now on your screen. I pinned it. Make sure you align it and pin it properly, and then you discover that the edge will be equal or approximately equal. And then from the middle I'm gonna stitch way down to the zipper allowance When I'm done, I will use scissors to notch the curved part of this dress, and then I'm gonna flip it inside out. Guys, this is what it looks like. I'm telling you, it looks very neat. All I need to do is use a pressing iron to just lay everything flat, and I'll show you what it looks like. So I use some hemming gum to hold in the lining, since I did not top stitch on the lining. So after, I'll place my hemming gum inside the bustier, that's in between the lining and the actual fabric, and then I will use iron to seal it, to hold it together so the lining doesn't come out when you're actually wearing the dress. So after doing that, I'll go ahead to iron every part of this dress. And guys, that is literally all about making this bustier with this kind of sleeve. So after ironing everything, I'll go ahead to stitch out the zipper allowance. I'll take out the allowance, that's 1 inch. I'll do that, and this is what it looks like. So if you want to attach a skirt underneath, it is fine. If you want to attach a trouser, anything. Anyways, this is just what this tutorial is about, teaching you how to make a Princess Dart bustier with this kind of sleeve. I really hope you found this tutorial helpful. Bye guys.